Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Aura News broadcast. It is now time for our daily English news edition, Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. A day after the Venice Commission adopted its final opinion on the justice reform, the Assembly Speaker Ilir Meta appeared to take a flexible stance, leaving the possibility open for political dialogue. When asked by Aura News whether he has discussed the possibility of a meeting between political leaders with his ally Edi Rama, Mr. Meta avoided giving a response. Even though the SMI chairman has said that the votes of his party will be in favor of the justice reform, he reiterated that his party is open to the possibility of finding consensus with the Democratic Party. Meta has repeatedly asked the political class to address the experts of Euralius and Opdat for any points of the reform on which they still have disagreements. He said that there is no time to waste as the opening of negotiations with the European Union is being impeded. Mr. Meta called the parties to read the Venice recommendations objectively and without bias, with the aim of having a final draft by the end of March, when the EU Commissioner Hahn will visit Albania. He said, "The SMI has paid close attention to the justice reform. The fact that the political forces have referred to the Venice Commission as the institution that guarantees high standards for the Constitution and the laws is a positive thing. There will be different opinions about certain issues, but in these cases, we will ask for the help of Euralius and Opdat to give a final interpretation of every issue. Since we have the final official opinion of Venice Commission, we can tell you that the SMI will give all of its 20 votes to the reform if it follows the Venice opinion," said the Assembly Speaker. The administrator of a company called Omega Pharma has been arrested for illegally smuggling medicines into the country. He was reportedly assisted by a customs officer who has also been arrested by the state police. A recent audit of the company revealed that they have evaded customs obligations of about 40 million lek. The administrator of the company was directly involved with a customs agent who was helping him to avoid declaring the medicines at the border. The police operation was conducted in cooperation with the Department of Enforcement and Investigation and with the Department of Economic and Financial Crime. The administrator of Omega Pharma has been charged with smuggling, while the customs agent is accused of dereliction of duty. Financial experts are saying that the decline of inflation in February is the product of a difficult economic situation that began in 2011. They say that this situation is driven by external factors, as well as governmental policies over the past few years. According to the European Commission, Albania had an inflation rate of 3.5% in 2011, which was within the target of 2 to 4% set by the Bank of Albania. The rate of consumption was then affected by the European crisis, which was just hitting Albania in its second phase. It caused a reduction of Albanian business contracts with European partners. At the end of 2012, the Albanian inflation rate declined to 2%, still at the minimum target range that was designated by the Bank of Albania. The inflation rate continued to fall because of low economic growth, reduction of lending, and problems in the business sector, leading to a reduction of revenue and consumption. By the end of 2015, the inflation rate fell to 1.9%. The inflation rate is an indicator of the cyclical weakness of the Albanian economy, combined with the efforts of the reforms undertaken by the government. The increased taxes of Rama's government in 2014 and 2015 added more costs to the business sector, inhibiting the growth of wages. For the public administration, wages and pensions froze in place for a period of 3 years, further affecting consumption. The small business sector also suffered under the Operation Against Informality. Recent data on the bank accounts of individuals and businesses indicates that consumption is still suffering from uncertainty. Even those who have money are not spending it, keeping it safe for better days. According to the Bank of Albania, the standard of living has not improved despite the positive economic growth in 2015. The bank indicates that the growth of wages and profits for businesses has been very slow. In a report to the Parliament, the Supervisory Board noted that the economy still has untapped capacity. The Bank of Albania estimates that the economic growth in 2015 was a reflection of the increase in investments and the improved balance of foreign trade. On the other hand, it notes that private consumption shrank during the first half of the year, primarily in response to uncertainty on the part of the consumers and slow recovery in the third quarter. According to the report, the economic growth in 2015 reflected the continuous positive contribution of the service industry and the improved activity in the construction sector. Industrial activity has also given a positive contribution to the economic growth, but it is characterized by movement in the opposite direction by its constituent branches. The Democratic chairman, Lulzim Basha, was in Klos today with some of the young men from the Democratic Youth Forum, meeting with a group of concerned citizens. Referring to the shortage of the state revenue in 2015, Basha accused the government of abusing public funds and stealing $1.2 billion. He pointed out that this money should have been invested in legalizations, employment, and the health sector. The government has not kept any of its promises in 3 years, he said. No investments have been made. $1.2 billion have disappeared in a single year, money that could have provided free energy for the citizens for 6 years, or could have built 900 new schools. Chairman Basha was familiarized with the citizens' concerns about high tuition, which makes it difficult for students to continue their education. He promised that he will repeal the law on higher education and reduce the tuition costs as soon as the Democratic Party comes into power. He announced that 35% of the candidates running for MP positions will be new faces. He said, 39 young people from all around the country will run for MP positions in the parliament. The ability to deal with problems and to offer solutions to the voters and our supporters will determine who gets the votes in a secret ballot, said Mr. Basha. The municipality of Tirana has opened a new market for fruit and vegetables in Unit Number 3 to provide a solution to the unlicensed markets that may have unsanitary conditions. Mayor Valiai has encouraged the citizens to come and buy their fruit and vegetables from the authorized market, which meets the hygienic conditions of the City Hall. Yesterday, the mayor invited an old woman who was selling on the street to come and sell at the authorized market. He paid a fine that had been imposed on her for unauthorized street selling. A picture of the mayor encouraging the woman went viral on the social networks overnight. For several years, the absence of regulated market areas has led to more selling on the streets, where the conditions are often unsanitary. Mayor Valiai inaugurated the new market himself and declared that the city's priority is to create more markets that are up to hygienic standards. He said, Tirana City Hall is making every possible effort to respond to the complaints of our citizens. The citizens want sidewalks that are clear and free of salesmen. Therefore, establishing markets with hygienic standards is the City Hall's priority. We are willing to help all of the vendors to sell in the authorized markets. The City Hall markets will also be tax-free. There will also be spaces for vendors coming in from outside the city, said the mayor. Earlier today, Mr. Valiai took part in the planting of red cherry trees along the Ruga Kavaya as part of an operation to plant 7,000 new trees in the capital city. The world-famous Albanian soprano Ermonela Jaho is currently in Albania for the second phase of a project called Master Class, which involves the training and performance of new Albanian talent. The Albanian soprano has been working at the Theater of Opera and Ballet for 4 days now, teaching the most talented new opera singers of Tirana. According to her, Albania has some extremely talented young opera singers. She says that this project has been a mutual exchange because she is learning a great deal from them as well. Her work with the young singers will be culminated on the stage tonight in a concert at the National Theater of Opera and Ballet in Tirana. Ermonela Jaho was recently nominated for an International Opera Award, and she says that if she wins, she will dedicate the award to the Albanian opera. That's all of our news for this evening. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back again on Monday with more news in English. Have a great weekend.